Hey, good morning. It's Dr. Michelle Pedicola with another edition of Where the Crawdads Sing. Okay, with another edition of Sunrise Diaries in Sunset Cemetery. Good morning. I'm Dr. Michelle of Secrets of Life and Death and Second Chance Secrets, empowering motivational speakers, change makers, leaders, to monetize and magnify their message through high-powered transformational programs that get amazing results. Because that's also what I do is, hey, good morning, Bruce. I help people to reinvent their lives after loss, divorce, hey, thank you, or some kind of traumatic life challenge, which of course is what we're going through right now with this shelter in place. And the topic I want to talk about today is depression. I've been kind of going by the seat of my pants lately about what I've been talking about in these Sunrise Diaries and trusting that the universe is going to tell me what I need to talk about. And today it's about depression and despair. Now, first of all, understand we're going through a rough time, both astrologically, hey, good morning, thank you for joining, both astrologically and emotionally and spiritually. There's a lot of stuff happening. Here in California, we have fires everywhere. California is on fire. But also we are involved in one of the most amazing social experiments of our time, and that's the sheltering in place. We are being separated from each other. We are wearing masks. We are getting alienated. And human beings are social beings. We need each other. We need contact. We need hugs. We need love. And here we are, isolated. And I find myself walking at night, and all these people are out there walking their dogs, and I'm like thinking daggers at them because they're in my space. That is, I have to walk in the middle of the road in order to avoid people. And I gotta tell you, I do not wear a mask outside unless I'm on the way to a supermarket, because I believe it's important for me to breathe the fresh air, although it's a little smoky this morning. But that's what I believe, and I've done some studies, and I pretty much have decided that it's important for me to release my carbon dioxide and breathe oxygen. Okay, so we have a fire, we have shelter in place, and it could be affecting people. It could be affecting you and creating a certain amount of depression and despair that you don't even know about. So those of you who have been following me know that I have this view of life as we are spiritual beings having a human adventure. And part of having this human adventure is living in these bodies. And the bodies, they have their own agenda. In fact, we're sitting on a chemical factory. And what we put in, the fuel we put in, determines a lot of how we feel. Now, almost 2 years ago, I found myself watching an online program called The Microbiome, or maybe it was called Interconnected, and came across a book called The Genius Foods, or Genius Foods by Max Lugavere. And because my father died from Alzheimer's and my husband's mother died from Alzheimer's, I was interested. Now, you got to understand that I always thought that I had the most fabulous diet. And I read this book, and OMG, I was knocked over, because actually there were things that I was eating that were influencing the functioning of my brain. We changed our diet on the dime. My husband had just made a whole batch of muesli, which is granola without the toasted oil, and I had made a whole batch of raw sprouted grain, and we threw it all out because it's like there's no time to lose. Time to wake up. time to do the things that our bodies need for their health. So I invite you to read the book or read some other book that tells you how the body functions. How sugar, now there was a mistake about 50 years ago where our whole dietary perspective was influenced by the sugar industry. And we were told to avoid fats and to eat carbohydrates. Now, how do I know that that's wrong? Because over 50% of the Americans are overweight. They are obese, not even just overweight, they're obese. So that's a really stunning statistic. And Alzheimer's, shooting through the roof. It has a curve of increased incidence that will pop your eyes out. It's really bad. So I don't want to die from Alzheimer's. In fact, most people don't. A few years back, I was running a group called Facing Death with Open Eyes, or Facing Death Salon. And I brought a person in who was talking about the bill in California for, I guess it's called compassionate choice, which is the ability to get drugs from your doctor to end your life early when you have a prognosis of, 6 months or less. And they were all concerned in my group about, well, what about if I get Alzheimer's? Can I put a bequest to have my life terminated? No, you can't. You get Alzheimer's, you lose control, and nobody else can end your life. So that's time to change the way in which you live. Change your body. Realize that you are living in a chemical factory, and that what you do, what you feed yourself, the fuel you put in your body has huge impact on how you feel. So you're wondering, well, where does this go with depression? Well, hello, sugar blues. Sugar is a very, very toxic and addictive drug that can really affect your mood. Don't take it from me. Read the book, Genius Foods, or another book that talks about sugar and carbohydrates and how it affects your body. You know, a few years back, maybe, oh, there's a turkey out there. A few years back, I hit menopause, and I gained about 20 pounds in a very short amount of time, and I could not shake it. And always in the past, I was able to get rid of, I used to be a long distance runner. I used to weigh 118 pounds. And here I was gaining weight and not being able to stop it. And so I've never really been worried about that, but it's part of this whole diet. And we have to be more intelligent about what we put in our bodies. So in the next few days, I'm going to talk about 3 topics that can affect your mood. Now, one is the body. And it's always the place I start. I worked with people around grief and loss for over almost 20 years. And before that, I worked with emotionally disturbed and court-adjudicated adolescents. So I know a lot about grief and despair and how to work through it. And my number one tip, or number one step, is to deal with the body. You got to deal with the body first, because the chemicals in the body are really powerful. There's a neuroscientist, his name is Antonio Damasio, and he talks about a neural study in which they stimulated parts of this woman's brain. And she actually had suicidal ideational thoughts when they stimulated a particular part of her brain. And as soon as they stopped stimulating it, the thoughts went away. Bodies are powerful. Now you might say, well, maybe I just will stay away from those scientists that stimulate that part of my brain. Well, that's a good idea, but also stay away from the chemicals, the foods that are going to contribute to your despair and depression. This is the first place to look, because it's powerful. Your mood is influenced by what you eat. Now tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the brain, your thoughts. So the reason why, did I say the reason why I got into this whole topic was that I was at this dream group. I've been going to this dream group for, oh my gosh, maybe 12, 15 years. And two of the members were depressed. And maybe some of their depression has to do with food, I don't know. But some of their depression has to do with how they are thinking. Now, for sure, there's a lot of craziness going on out in the world right now, and especially in this country with this election. And I don't care which side you're on, it doesn't look good on either side, does it? And so it's easy to get caught up in the despair of that. I don't watch a lot of news. I don't watch, I get most of my news from other people and on Facebook, because I don't want to put, basically there's a war for our minds out there. And I don't want to be pulled this way and that way from people who have their own vested interest in why they want us to think one way or the other. Now, it's really clear that this whole sugar addiction has to do with promoting the sale of food. Obese people eat a lot of food. That means more profits. Okay, so that sounds pretty cynical, but it's true. It's true. I mean, that was the whole thing around McDonald's and Super Size Me, was getting people to eat more. How do we get people to eat more? Because otherwise we won't be able to increase our profits. Well, it's time to change. We are in a time of change. Astrologically, spiritually, we're in a time of change. And you either start to change or you struggle. Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to share this prayer that came to me this morning. And it goes something like this: God, grant me the strength to change the things I can, the patience to accept the things that I can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So in the next few days, I'm going to be trying to tell you about some of the things that you can change to make your life better, to make your life more livable, and in fact, to appreciate it more. That is, oh, look at all the turkeys in the back. And I'm going to give you one little boost. I'm going to show you a shot of the bay. Can you see it? I guess you can't really. Oh wait, there it is, there it is. I think, I don't know, it's, these tiny cameras. But yes, I'm looking out on the bay right now, and it's a beautiful day. It's a little smoky, but it is a gorgeous day, and I'm feeling really grateful. I'm feeling grateful for this technology that allows me to communicate with you. I'm inviting you to work on your mood so that you are part of the solution and not part of the problem. Because trust me, one of my points has to do with the communal energy, the vibration that we put out that affects everybody else. And you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. So as you start to work on yourself, you can help everybody else. Come back tomorrow when I will be talking about how to work with the brain, how to work with your thoughts, and how to transform your despair into hope. That's it for today. Love you. Thank you for joining me, and be brilliant. Bye for now.